Hey y'all, Moses here. Thought I would bring you my thoughts and first impressions on the month 2 patch that has just hit the test servers today. I managed to spend 3 to 4 hours just messing around on stream with the test server and just kind of getting a general feel of the game as it will be live today in the early morning hours, May 25th, 2017. So just a quick overview of some of the performance improvements included, primarily focused on the client aspect. General rendering performance of world objects and weapons and vehicles, whatnot, has been increased, as well as improved character animation performance and effect performance. Now I want to just quickly touch on the effect performance aspect, as I think this was a really nice change that I didn't really notice until I was in the game. Essentially what has occurred is the first person, or sorry, the up close aspect of shooting someone before would lead to frame drops due to the immense blood spatters that would occur. That seems to be really improved. So close quarters battles in houses, a lot less frame dropping and stuttering and lag with the blood spatters, which is a really welcome improvement, and not one I really noticed up until this test server today. So you can maintain targeting a lot easier, and you're not lagging out due to blood spatter. So that was really great. From a content aspect, the VSS was added, which is a mid-range, almost short to mid-range sniper rifle, 9mm subsonic round. That was not super awesome, but I definitely understand how it could have a place in the late game as a finishing weapon or as a assassin level weapon in the replacement of a UMP or a Vector, or essentially just an SMG shotgun or sniper rifle. I can see the VSS playing an important part in the late game by way of concealing your sound and bullet cracks. Just due to its, again, subsonic ammunition. I picked it up a couple of times. I killed a few people, and it was generally pretty good. So I was happy with how it handled in the game. But I guess its viability in the meta will kind of remain to be seen as this patch deploys and people play around with it. Other than that, the motorcycle, I mean the single passenger motorcycles in the game, still a death trap. Not much to say there. Other than that, the gameplay changes, I think is a welcome change here is the reduced movement speed of the final 2 play zones to allow for better engagement in the end game. I think that's something that I still have to spend more time with to kind of notice the difference, but it was a change that a lot of players requested just because you felt really rushed with the last 2 circles, and you couldn't really engage with other players without getting stuck outside the safe zone, which is a big problem, especially in the late game. Other than that, the balance pass on the weapons, I think it was a vague addition to the patch notes, but just kind of going over what they've included. The Vector has had its bullet damage reduced slightly, and it has increased deviation gain per shot, so increased spread. I will say that the shotguns didn't feel too different, but they've had their pellet damage reduced slightly as well. And the AKM is the only weapon to receive a buff in this patch, having its bullet damage increased slightly. So slightly, I don't know exactly what that means, but in playing with the AKM, I didn't notice an immediate difference. But what I did definitely notice is the modified recoil for the ARs in general. The AKM, SCAR, M16, and M416 have all had their weapon recoils modified. Now again, not a specific note of how they've changed, but I will say the 416, especially when fully equipped with a tactical stock, foregrip, all the bells and whistles, has very little recoil. Very easy to control, even when bursting down players. And the M16, the maligned M16 from the last patch, has definitely had its groove restored. I was very happy with how the gun handled in the game. The effective range I didn't get to test out too much, but I would imagine that's it's going to come back to probably being a tier 1 or tier 2 weapon, in the sense that depending on how the AKM ends up handling, I would anticipate the M416 and M16 being the go-to rifles, and the SCAR and the AKM coming in a close second. So really a good parity among all ARs, which is a good thing. The AKM still having maybe a slight advantage in damage, but again, it'll take some time and playing and testing to see how it all really works out. But another welcome addition is the improved ADS view with the holographic sight and just in general. It seems that the holographic sight definitely has better visibility, as does the red dot sight. I was definitely happy with how the short range sights handled. And other than that, I think that the general ADS time seems to be reduced. I don't know if this was just a placebo effect, but definitely noticed it with the 4x and 2x scope. I don't know if they were slightly changed or if it's just, again, my perception that it might not be reality. But it definitely seemed that the weapons handled a lot faster. Getting down the sight seemed quicker. That might have something to do with the performance improvements with the weapons in general. But I felt that I was able to get down sight very, very quickly with all of the weapons in the game. Obviously, the big change that I was really looking forward to was the new scope rendering method, and it is free of the quote-unquote parallax, so the floating aim point when moving your scope has now been eliminated. So your aim point should always be where your bullets are going, regardless of where you are in the firing cycle, either beginning or middle or end, and that's including on automatic fire. So if you can control your aiming reticle, theoretically you should be able to control and be more accurate with your gunfire, which is really, really important in a game that requires a lot of skill, especially with the 4x scope, which was illustrated for us on the PlayerUnknown Twitter over the last couple of days. So really looking forward to the new 4x scope and the general handling, as I believe all scopes and reticles, including red dots and otherwise, have had that change applied. So I did notice that I felt more accurate, but server lag does play into that as well. So, you know, I can't really be sure until a server performance improvement comes along how well it's actually going to handle, you know, long term. Other than that, vehicle sound effects were added, some general housekeeping stuff, some vegetation to the lobby, UI. There's lots of little quality of life improvements. And I'm actually quite happy with it. There's one under the radar change I want to touch on quickly that you guys will likely notice. And this wasn't really talked about too much on the subreddit or anything else. But basically what they've done is they've fixed a bug that would allow players to drag inventory items to their inventory without an animation. So what that is code for is that every time you drag something to your inventory, you are going to do the looting animation. Now this I didn't really think too much about, but it actually substantially increases the loot time. So you can't dance over a crate and loot quickly while under fire, because you will be taken out because you're doing the animation. Your player freezes and does the crouch animation to loot, regardless of dragging or otherwise. So that was a change that I kind of struggled with initially, but I just looking forward to what the meta is going to look like. I think the SKS is definitely going to rise up. Due to the changes with the scope and the handling and the fact that it has further attachments as well now. So generally I think the SKS is going to be a really sought after weapon. The vector might decrease a little bit, but yeah, the looting aspect was a real big change and is kind of jarring, so heads up there. But you know what, I'm pretty happy with this patch. I'm pretty happy in general. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments about the patch notes and what's going to be changing with the game, but you know, it's refreshing. It's a nice refreshing aspect to the game, that or nice refreshing patch to the game, and I hope it kind of renews some interest and changes up the meta a little bit, because I think we're a little bit overdue. So again, impromptu overview of the patch. I look forward to seeing you guys all out there. Feel free to drop by on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses and on Twitter at wtfmoses, and of course, leave a comment down below with any of your thoughts on the patch or otherwise. And again, I appreciate you guys watching, and a little off script today, but if I don't see you guys soon, hopefully I see you in the game. So thanks again, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you in the new patch.